is just the funniest thing I've ever done. All right, let's figure out how to make this thing work here. All right, this is Sherman Ray. Hey everybody, this is Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. I think it's time to get this show started. I think I figured this thing out. Let's go. Here we go. That is too funny. Good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray. This is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Um, it's funny how things happen in the morning, folks. You just kind of wonder to yourself, man, how do I even? You can see something, and it happens anyways. You just don't understand it. So, welcome everybody to the show. It is a fabulous Tuesday morning here in the city that never sleeps, Las Vegas, Nevada. Let me adjust this a little bit to here. You can actually see the top of my head there. And I want to welcome you to the show. Welcome all of our friends on Facebook and Instagram and all the other cool places that you see the show at. YouTube. If you like our YouTube show that comes to you each and every day, I encourage you to like the page, subscribe to our channel. That way you get updates all the time that we update the show. This morning, if you are part of our mailing list, you actually got our mailing list early this morning. I've got to jet right out of here. I've got a meeting really quickly after the show today when we normally put our mailing list out. So I'm going to be taken off. So I sent out that a little early this morning, which is cool. But I want to encourage you to check it out. Probably will not get through the entire show. There's so much going on. So much going on in the Valley right now. And I want to thank you all for being a part of the show. For those of you, this might be your first time that you're checking us out. I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine. And today is, I'll be going into deep state mode, which means I'm going to be really engrossed and entrenched in the production of the magazine for the next 2 weeks. We've got a lot of work to do. I mean, a lot of work because we're coming out with the new magazine in about 2 more weeks for Livin in Vegas magazine. So very excited about that. So my work basically just begins right now in the next 2 weeks. I'm putting together all the stuff and any loose edges that we might have or loose ends that we might have in the paper and or in the magazine. And we're let's talk about the one that we've had that is still out already right now. So Livin in Vegas magazine is out right now. So if you want to check out our what do they call it, the premiere issue of Livin in Vegas magazine, I encourage you to check that out, folks. It is still up on our website at livininvegas.com. As a matter of fact, the website's actually going to be changing. Working on a new updated version of the website. New and improved. Everything's always new. Many of you know that when we first started the Livin in Vegas, we used to call it Lovin' and Livin in Vegas. And I know some of you are asking why. Some of you know this already. But Lovin' and Livin in Vegas was a song I sang years ago when I was a singer on the road. And yes, I was a singer on the road years ago. And it's actually my license plate on my car. It's called Livin in Vegas, and so I've had it since mid '80s. Yeah, mid '80s, where I've had that license plate. And so when we had an opportunity to start a magazine, I said, "Hey, why not call it Livin in Vegas?" And then that's just really long though. Livin in Vegas. I mean, it's just so long. So we decided we'd cut it down a little bit, call it Livin in Vegas. We still love it. We still love living here, but we call it Livin in Vegas magazine, and so that's it. So we've had iterations of this. We've got some new branding that we're working on right now. It's not coming out yet for a little bit, but I want to encourage you to check out the magazine on our website at livininvegas.com. If you are one of those folks and you're saying, "Hey, I just want to send me that stuff," just send it to me in an email. Oh, more than happy to do that. I am so excited about doing that. All you have to do is send me your contact information at info@livininvegas.com. That's it. Send me your contact information at livininvegas.com, and I will be more than happy put you on our mailing list, and you can actually have um, Living in Vegas news, your daily Living in Vegas news in your inbox every single morning. And so I'm updating all of my pages here because we get our show comes out on different pages on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and that kind of stuff. And every once in a while, hey, good morning, Dawn, oh, and Gwendolyn, you're here too. Oh, that's so fun. Um, how are you doing, Miss Jackson? And I never get to see Gwen. I've got to see her, just a handful of times. And but thank you both for being a part of the show this morning. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here today. Actually, Gwendolyn, you're going to actually be really interested in one of these things. It's going to come as a shock to you if you get to watch most of the show. It'll be a real shock. As a matter of fact, I'll do it as my first story today. Okay. Once again, if you'd like to get on our mailing list, get on our mailing list at info@livininvegas.com, and we can email you each and every morning our newsletter, which literally comes out 5 days a week, and it keeps you up with the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. So all you've got to do is send that to me, and I will get that out there to you. Okay. Also, we have a mixer coming up, and our mixer is the happy hour, and it's happening over at the Horse Trailer Hideout. That is 1506, 1506 South Main Street, Las Vegas, Nevada. Um, Downtown. That's in downtown Las Vegas. So we encourage you folks to come on out to that to the Horse Trailer, and the Horse Trailer Hideout is a craft brewery. So we love hanging out at craft brewery places, and celebrating craft beer, celebrating business owners that are doing such a great job. And so this business networking mixer, generally we're having them twice a month. For the last 2 months, we've actually had it once a month, just because we've had so many different events that are going on. So we want to encourage you, come on out to the event. It's co-sponsored by Living in Vegas Magazine, Horse Trailer Hideout, and our friends over at Beers with Friends. It's Audrey May and Mr. Shop Hero, we call him. He's doing such a great job. Butterbean is his name. We call him Butterbean. Got all kinds of names for these guys. But that is going to be April 7th, first Thursday. So generally, we're going to have them first and third Thursday of the month. So hope you enjoy that. Because I know some people are going to have to go to work here pretty soon, but I want you to see this really quick before we do. This is a little Elijah, and Elijah is 11-year-old kid. His name is Elijah Arnold, and so Elijah Arnold came up missing. His last seen Monday. It's a kind of a terrible picture of him, but he was last seen Monday about 5:50 in the afternoon near Shady Brook Lane, in the area of Rainbow in the US 95. So Shady Brook Lane is actually really close to where I live at. And so that's why I was saying that Gwendolyn would probably see this. Shady Brook Lane is like literally, it's really close to where I live at. And so if you've seen this kid, he's all of 5'4", I believe. He's really, 4'9". He's 11 years old. Weighs about 80 pounds. Last seen wearing a green jacket, gray sweatpants, and a white stripe, blue and white Nike shoes. So he's got blue and white Nike shoes that he's wearing. So that is him. They say that. So take a real good look at this little guy. He's hopefully he's doing well. I really do. You want to make sure if you've got any kind of information on him, call the police, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. It's 702-828-3111. That's Elijah Arnold. And so we really we've actually put a lot of pictures of people who are missing. One of them was actually found about a month ago or so, and so she was found, which was really cool. And so we just want to make sure that if you see any of these children out there, please, 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 please call the police department, 828-3111, and you can help these kids out. I'll tell you, it's really important that we're able to help folks out. Well, our friends up at Mount Charleston, folks, many of you have been up here to Mount Charleston, to the lodge up there, not the lower lodge, but the upper lodge. That a couple of months ago, actually, gosh, it a fire ripped through the Mount Charleston Lodge, September, and when it did, it just torched that place. Well, the final demolition on the site should be done by the end of the month, which means they're going to be able to start rebuilding the lodge, which is, and so we're going to actually be doing a story on this because this is the Mount Charleston Lodge. For those of you who've not been up there to the Mount Charleston Lodge, you're missing a part of Vegas that you really should just check out. I mean, you really should. It's real fun up there. Not only is it fun up there, but it gets you out of the valley. That when it's hot down here, it's really cool up there, and when it's cool down here, it's really cool up there. So when it's cool down here, it's cooler up there, and so we encourage you to check it out. It's really at the top of the hill up there, and you can actually check out what's going on at the lodge. Great hiking up there. When it snows, it's so beautiful up there. Inner tubing, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a part of Las Vegas that a lot of people don't see. They don't see the beauty in Las Vegas. They see a bunch of desert. Okay, well, at the lodge there's trees, pine trees, all kinds of beautiful nature, birds, wild hickory nuts, the whole thing. And but they're going to be working on it. The folks who own Ellis Island, the casino, are the owners of the lodge up there. Christina Ellis is not only the owner of the general manager of Ellis Island, but they own the lodge up there. And they said they're going to be releasing some renderings of the building, the new place, which will be really cool. The other lodge up there too. So not only is there the upper lodge, the big lodge, but there's the smaller lodge, which is called the Retreat. So the Retreat. And the reason why I know this, folks, is because they used to be a client of ours a few years ago when I had my restaurant, and they were our client. Our coffee was in the Retreat. Beautiful place. It changed hands a couple of years ago, and the couple who are working on it right now are just a dedicated, young, excited couple who saw an opportunity to be a part of Las Vegas. And we wish them all well, which is real. You need that young blood that's going to come in there and going to kick butt and take names. So between Christina Ellis of the Ellis Island brand and the other, gosh, what's her name? Oh gosh, I forgot the lady's name who owns the Retreat. But you've got some really just exciting people in that Mount Charleston area that are really feeding. And it's going to become a very cool place. I know at the Retreat, they're planning motorcycle get-togethers, wine tastings, that kind of stuff. For those of you, we're going to be doing a story on the lodge area too. At one time, there was actually a golf course down there. So just off the backside of the Retreat, there's like a big valley area. And there was actually a golf course up there at one time. Didn't work really well, but it is what it is. And sometimes that happens. So many of you saw this next story. So this next story is actually about a bunch of trains that were going through the Las Vegas area, and people had questions on it. They were going, "What the heck is this whole train thing?" Dozens of trains, armored personnel carriers, troop support vehicles, Bradley fighting vehicles, and much more were seen downtown Las Vegas and around the valley. And so we had some folks that were out there who took pictures of all this stuff, and they were saying, "Hey, what is this? Is this a buildup in Nellis for the Ukraine invasion by Russia?" And that was, it's a huge story about this. Can you imagine? You're driving down the road, and some of you saw it. I would assume some of you might have seen this crazy view of all these trains, or this big long line of trains going through, especially armored personnel carriers, stuff like that. At the same time that we see this massive buildup in Ukraine. Well, so we're here to allay your uh, your fears. It wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. So we live in a military town. Many of you know Nellis Air Force Base. It's just to our northeast side of the valley. Also, there is in Southern California. There is a Marine Corps logistics base in Barstow, Fort Irwin, Edwards Air Force Base, just to name a few. We've got a lot of military installations around this area. Well, um, quite often those installations, they move their equipment, including tanks, rail, and it comes through Las Vegas. So, and that's what it was. So that's what it was, folks. I know. Some of you are saying, "Oh, it looked like a troop buildup to me." And yeah, but according to a spokesman from Fort Irwin, they were doing a routine movement of equipment from Fort Irwin to Fort Hood in Texas. And so so a lot of training's going on, that kind of stuff. And so they decided that they were going to move that stuff around and make sure everything's good. Okay, so there. So you're feeling better? I know. I'm feeling better too. So let me make an announcement real quick. We are going to be having a special guest on the show either tomorrow. I hope it's this week. Her name is Nikki Fargas, and Nikki Fargas, for those of you who follow the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, she is the coach of the. No, not the coach. She is actually. Well, yeah. She, no, what does Nikki do? Oh my gosh. She's a president. Excuse me. Oh gosh, of the Aces. So of the Las Vegas Aces, our women's basketball team. And so very excited about that she's going to be on the show. They're going to be talking about, we'll be talking about an event that's going to be coming to Vegas in May, the end of May. I was really lucky very fortunate to meet up with somebody who's their point man here in town. His name is Rodney Patton, and through some discussions, we were able to land Nikki Fargas on our podcast. So she's a dynamite. She's a dynamite powerhouse woman, businesswoman, sports fanatic, that kind of stuff. And if the last name sounds familiar, it should. So we'll kind of tie all that together. So be checking that out. We'll make an announcement on it. We'll leave some notification to let you know when it's going to be. I'm hoping it's tomorrow, same time that we'll be able to talk to her a little bit. But I really want you to be here so that you can ask her some questions. Okay, ask her some questions on what's going on with the Aces, what our chances are, that kind of stuff. You know what we're talking about. Oh, so coming up, many of you know it's election season right now. This is Adam Laxalt and that's Sam Brown. So they're both running for Senate. And, there we go. So they're both running for the Senate. And Adam is the front runner right now, the presumed front runner. Sam Brown, retired military guy, is going to be, they're hoping to get together and doing some kind of debate. Yeah. And so this is interesting too. Both of these guys are ex-military guys. It's very rare. I was thinking about that when I was putting together the story, that both of these guys are military guys, and it's very rare that you have two politicians or guys running for office where both of them are military guys. And so that's what's going to be happening. They'll be running against Catherine Cortez Masto. So Sam and Adam Laxalt are Republicans against Catherine Cortez Masto, who has been in office for a few years now. And so it'll be it'll be interesting to see what happens with with the guys running against Catherine Cortez Masto. March Madness, folks, is upon us. Yes, March Madness here in Las Vegas is upon us. And it, what does March Madness have to do with Las Vegas? Well, we have Sportsbook, and we are the biggest sports bet wagering operation there is in town, folks. There's a story out of Atlantic City that says about 45 million Americans say they plan to bet on this year's March Madness college basketball tournament. And an increasing percentage will do it in a way that doesn't include filing out brackets. So they say that they're predicting that $3.1 billion worth of money is going to be wagered on this year's tournament. And that, I don't know how they even get these numbers. That includes legal and illegal bookies and offshore websites. They say everybody is wanting to bet on this year's tourney. And many of you know that Our Lady Rebels are in this. Yes, the men didn't make it. Oh, so close. But the women did. And so, very cool. You're going to have a lot of money on the line. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, $3.1 billion. Oh my gosh, just betting on, basketball, which is cool. So it's always fun to have, people going out there betting and wagering money and stuff like that. I got to make another announcement real quick. I was working on a video that I didn't get out yesterday because we had some sound quality issues. But if you are a business owner and you don't have a big budget to do a big marketing campaign, you can. We're doing a program here in Livin in Vegas podcast where you can help underwrite our show. So you can underwrite our podcast by by advertising here on the show. And it's really easy to do, folks. I mean, really easy. All you've got to do is actually send me an email. Just send the email to livininvegas.com or, info@livininvegas.com or advertising@livininvegas.com. Either way, you'll get to where you need to go. So if you're a business owner and you would like to be either on the show or you'd like to advertise and be an underwriter on the show, and that means, do a little product placement or we'll do a video or, that kind of thing for you. Definitely check us out. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of places. I want to let you know that because we don't want this just to be a big advertising thing. But really, we want to talk about what's going on in Las Vegas. But we do have some limited spaces for that. Also on our email list, our mailing that we send out. Plenty of opportunity for you to be out there or on our website because we're updating our website pretty quick. Or also in our magazine. So our magazine is going to be coming out. Actually, today is the last day for advertisers to be on the magazine, and we really encourage you if you want to be in the magazine, today is the last day. I mean, I cannot tell you how much of a rush it is to try to put together a magazine and get the crew and everybody else trying to revamp a magazine because of late stuff. So please, if you would like to be in Livin in Vegas magazine, which comes out quarterly, and we tell everybody about it. We send it out every day. It gets out to a lot of people on a daily basis. Today is the day. You want to contact us. Use the email that's right there, and say, hey, please, I want to be on your mailing list, or I want to be an advertiser, or an underwriter, or some way another advertise on Livin in Vegas. Okay, and so that's info@livininvegas.com, and we want to encourage you to take advantage of that, folks, because I'll tell you, it's right now you can have the best product or service in the world, and it does you absolutely no good if nobody knows about you. Okay, it's just kind of the way it is. What were we going to talk about? Joe Lombardo. So Joe Lombardo, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's our current Clark County sheriff. He filed for governor, so you can see he actually did file his paperwork to run for governor. A lot of people on the GOP side are running to become to challenge Democrat Governor Steve Sisolak. So Lombardo served 2 terms as head of Metro, and so got a lot of people who are running for office right now. For governor, Dean Heller, John Lee, Michelle Fiore, Joey Gilbert, and many, many more are um, running for office in that area. Um, I'm going to get to one more story. I know. Okay. Okay. This is actually a really cool story. So many of you have ever heard of Area 51. This was a cool story. So, how many of you know what the original name of Area 51 was? Huh? Yeah. Okay, think about it. The original area, the name of Area 51 is not Area 51. Okay? And there's a guy who's got a book coming out, and this is going to be good. His name, um, Thornton T.D. Barnes. He's a former CIA agency radar specialist, and he did an exclusive interview with one of the other area news reporters, and he's coming out with this really cool article on, or book actually, on Area 51. And man, this is big. This is really cool. So, what is Area 51? Okay, so unless you've just never been in Las Vegas, or you just don't know what, or just not, you're not paying attention and stuff like that. Area 51 doesn't exist. Okay, well, it does. And people have been trying to go up to the Groom Lake area, just north of Vegas, for years. Since the 50s, they've been trying to go up there to find out what's going on in Area 51. And the government has said, stay out. This is our secret base, and you're not supposed to know it. But people have insisted on going out there all the time. They have got, stories about Martian landings, top secret stuff, Pentagon documents, Jimmy Hoffa, the whole thing. Well, so we found out over the years that a lot of top secret stuff that we didn't want our enemies to find out about were being developed up at Area 51. And so they've got Lockheed Martin has got a division called Skunk Works, a lot of U-2 spy plane stuff, the SR-21, Blackhawks, all kinds of really cool military stuff has been developed up at Area 51 that doesn't exist, just like the Mafia. It has never existed here. They're not buying this, right? No, they're not buying this. Okay, well, anyways, the original name of Area 51, you want to hear it? Station D. Station D. I know it's kind of a letdown, but yeah, that's really what the original name for Area 51 was. Station D. So that is the name of this guy's new book that he's putting out too, which should be a hoot. So this guy is going to spill the beans on some of the cool stuff that he saw out there. Hopefully not enough to tip off our enemies. Now that we're finding out that everybody wants every secret we have, maybe we should be just a little more careful about the things we tell everybody. But it is what it is. So I hope that people are spending a little less time worrying about Area 51 and more time spending worried about everything else. So, anyways, want to make that announcement once again, folks, because we don't have time. I would go on to another story, but once again, I talk so much, it's not going to happen. So, hopefully tomorrow or this week, we'll have Nikki Fargas on the show. I'm really excited about that. She is actually the president of the Las Vegas Aces. So excited about that she'll be on the show. If you are a business owner and you'd like to be on Livin in Vegas magazine, the podcast, just send me an email. info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com. And we'll get you on the show. So we'll be back again tomorrow, 8:30 about 9 o'clock, for the show that talks about the people, the places, the brands, the tendencies, the trends that shaped the city of Las Vegas. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas magazine. We'll see you again tomorrow.